Might be the middle of summer, but we still got games to play. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, August 1st, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Some games came out this week, so let's talk about them. Grounded 2 hit early access this week, and from what I've read, it's getting stellar reviews. I remember jumping into Grounded 1 and being very surprised and excited for it. And so I've got to convince some of my friends to pick this one up. But yeah, I've heard like it's one of the best survival games out there right now. And yeah, it's getting really good reviews. It's the Honey I Shrunk the Kids kind of video game. And yeah, I know that there's been quite a dearth of video game, survival based video games coming out. I'm still playing Dune Awakening. But yeah, I hear that people are having a blast with Grounded 2, and maybe you can even ride some buggies from what I've seen from some of the reviews. So yeah, I'm looking forward to convincing some friends to play some Grounded sometime soon. I'll have to check my Game Pass to see if I can hop in and see what it's all about. Another game that is officially fully released now is Tales of the Shire, and unfortunately, it seems to have fallen into the recent Lord of the Rings trends where it has not been very well received. It's currently sitting at a 59 Metacritic. From one of the reviews I've seen, it's like there's a lack of depth there, that the IP does a lot of the heavy lifting. It's somewhat lifeless with not a lot of VO, and like not all the NPCs can be interacted with, and just a lot of cooking. So I'm still looking forward to hopping in, and I always love being in Tolkien's world, but this one seems to have missed the mark a little bit according to the reviews. So let me know what you think down below, or if you're still going to pick it up. Nintendo had another Direct this week, so soon after their previous one. This one is focused on third-party games, and there's quite a lot to talk about. There's a Plants vs. Zombie remaster that is coming out, looked pretty cool. The next game from the studio behind Before Your Eyes, which is going to be very interesting. I read a whole article talking about just this 5 seconds that we saw in the Nintendo Direct, and how good Before Your Eyes was. And how the next game will also have some kind of camera-based eye tracking to integrate into their game. So yeah, looking forward to that. We saw more information about Final Fantasy Tactics. I think that's coming out sometime soon, so looking forward to that. And then maybe not quite as third-party as you would think, but the Hyrule Warriors next game is coming out soon. This one's going to be, looks like the previous one was like a spin-off of Breath of the Wild, so it looks like this one's like a spin-off of Tears of the Kingdom, and will maybe include the Zonai or something like that. So yeah, interesting to see what they do with the next Hyrule Warriors game. But yeah, there's a lot of games in the Nintendo Direct. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below. THQ also had reminded us that they're still around and kicking. And then they've got some games. They had to remind us that Darksiders 4 will eventually be here, eventually. There was a cool first-person fantasy gothic game called Fate Keeper. Looked pretty interesting. There's also another SpongeBob game coming on the pipe, which I know some of my friends will be very excited for. So yeah, I'm always surprised to see THQ still kicking around after their whole kerfuffle over 20 years ago, I think. Maybe not that long. It was like 10 years ago. But yeah, glad to see that. I have a lot of friends who are very excited for Darksiders 4. So yeah, looking forward to that. Atari bought Thunderful Group. This is the group behind the Steam World games. So like Steam World Dig and Steam World, Steam World Build was there was a card battler one in there. I love the Steam World games. And I didn't recognize the name of this group, so I did a little bit of digging to inform myself on who this group was. So Image Inform, the original creators of SteamWorld, and Zoink, the studio behind Lost at Random and Faye, are both Swedish developers, and they joined together in 2020 to become Thunderful Group, and that is the group that was purchased by Atari for $5 million, which the SteamWorld games, every time the developers are so they're like so variant. Like they no SteamWorld game feels the same. I know there's like a SteamWorld Dig 2. SteamWorld Heist is like a like a turn-based strategy game. There's a card, like I said, there's a card battler in there somewhere. So if I think $5 million is a steal for these developers who can make varied games. SteamWorld Build is a city builder that I played all the way through a couple years ago. I think last year maybe. Um, so yeah, I think Atari is getting these guys for a steal because they can do anything. It seems like I said, card battler, turn-based strategy, 2D platformer. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what they do with the backing of Atari. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but there's a new game coming out with a female protagonist who fights robotic prehistoric animals. If that sounds a lot like the Horizon series from Sony and Guerrilla Games, that is exactly how Sony feels as they are suing Tencent and their new game called Light of Mortam, Motirum, Light of Motirum, uh, it has a female protagonist fighting like woolly mammoths that are all robotic, and it definitely gives me the like Horizon vibes. I don't know if it's I don't know if the gameplay is enough similar to copyrighted. I don't know. I'm curious who's on the right side here, or if it's just like heavily inspired by, or if it is purely a ripoff. But I guess courts and people with legal degrees are gonna know this better than I am. But I am curious what the outcome of this is as Sony is suing Tencent. So what two titans in the industry. So interesting to see how this all shakes out. To celebrate the upcoming season 5 launch of Stranger Things, they are releasing a D&D set. So you and your friends can play through a Hellfire Club inspired D&D scenario, all for just $60, which is usually pretty cheap for starter kits I've seen for Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, it should be pretty exciting. It has little pop outs. Hopefully you get some Hellfire Club merch along with this D&D set. But yeah, looks like a fun scenario to play through with your friends who are D&D fans. Continuing on the tabletop, a new Witcher board game is coming out. This one is a co-op game as opposed to the previous one that blew up on Kickstarter and GameFound, which was a competitive game. This one is cooperative and has you starting out as young Witchers in the School of the Wolf, the same school that Geralt is from. So, but Geralt, I think, will not be in the game, but you will be playing as students in the School of the Wolf. So it'd be interesting to see how young Witchers can take on the world. But yeah, and I'm also excited for the co-op angle because the competitive angle in the previous Witcher board game was not to my style. I often refer to this developer as Larian at Home because they make awesome CRPGs, maybe slightly below Larian's kind of standard, as we've seen with Baldur's Gate and the Divinity series. I actually think some of the writing is superior, but the polish that Larian puts on computer RPGs is award winning to put a fine point on it. But Owlcat is the developer of the Pathfinder games like Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous. They also developed Rogue Trader, the Warhammer RPG from a year ago. And they are now working on a new game. It is also set in the I guess Pathfinder universe, or using the Pathfinder rule set. It's actually using Starfinder. So they're taking what they know about the Pathfinder games and using their rule set for their Starfinder sci-fi RPG. So kind of seems like a blend of the two. If you take Pathfinder plus 40K and you mash them together, you get something like Starfinder. So it seems like it's in their wheelhouse, and excited to see Owlcat continue to work on really cool RPGs. So I'm looking forward to that. And unfortunately, a downer at this here at the end of the week, but I read several articles talking about the studio behind BioShock had some kerfuffle this week They missed a milestone is the best way I can kind of put it. So, as you're developing the game, you have to hit certain criteria and certain milestones in order to move on to the next milestone. It seems like that was missed, according to several interviews this week. And so Bioshock 4, because of that, the head of the studio was let go. They've replaced the head of the studio, and they're going to try and get Bioshock 4 back on track. And yeah, I mean, they said it was going to be a good game, but they're looking to make a great game. I love anything set in Bioshock. It sounds like they're like this narrative or the location might not even be that firm, which means that it's very early in development, and we've still got a while for this, even though it's been in development for 6 years, according to some articles I read. So I want some more Bioshock. I'm looking forward to an upcoming Bioshock game. I hope it's great. I am curious what the setting is, where they are, how does it link into Bioshock Infinite. Like, there's a lot of questions to be asked about what's going on in that world, but and seems like it's hard to juggle right now. So unfortunately, the head of studio had to be let go because of missed benchmarks. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to seeing Bioshock for whenever they can put it in front of us, which sounds like it's a long ways off. So I'll continue to wait, but I won't hold my breath. But that's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye.